Yes. Hello, everyone. This is Israel Luna. I am here at Space Station, here at Space Studios. We are located at 35 in Regal Row. The exact address is 1499 Regal Row, Suite 505. And I am really, really happy to announce the new show that we have going on. It is called Your Show, right?
Your show, yes.
Your Show with Joaquin and Billy, and I have them here in our studio live. We are being broadcast live right now from our station called Space Station on YouTube, so you can just do a YouTube search. And I think right now we are also being broadcast live on your personal Facebook page.
Yes, we're on Facebook also.
Yeah, so anyway, welcome. This is your very first show.
Thank you for welcoming to Space Studios. I'm very happy to be with all of you here. I'm very excited to start a new season, in my professional work and in my life. And we're very thankful, me and Billy, to be here with all of you at the Space Studios. Thank you for welcome us.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
all my audience, thank you for tuning in our show this evening. And we're very excited, Billy. How do you feel?
Oh, it's great. It's
It's
I
wonderful.
really like the new show.
The new
Yes,
show that we're
yes.
gonna have. And
Thank you.
thank you, Sherry, for being here with us, and Israel and everybody here in the studios, and all our audience that follow us every week.
Yes, and so I have to say that we just started this. We actually made it official yesterday that you're going to have your show here,
Yes.
and Joaquin, and I apologize to you and Billy because I know you sent me a lot of stuff. I'm working on their intro, so starting I guess next week, your show is going to be regularly on Wednesdays.
Wednesdays at
Correct.
7 p.m.
Yeah, so starting on Wednesday, we're going to have your intro ready to go. We're going to have a really great background for you. We're going to set you up, but this one was sort of like a last minute thing
Yes.
that we decided because we're also having a party as well.
Yeah, we're gonna have a party after the show.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna have a cake. We're gonna have tacos, rice.
Oh, I'm getting so
Drinks.
hungry. I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm starving. So I can't wait to eat.
Hang out.
Yes. Oh, and we haven't had given you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Hi, Sherry Hearns here. Joaquin and Billy invited me to come interview them for their first show. So thank you guys for allowing me to do that. I'm super excited to start this journey with you guys and see where you guys go.
Thank you for being here. You're a very talented actress.
Thank
we
you.
like you a lot, and you're gonna be in some of our in most of our projects. Well, not most, on all our projects.
Do you know much about Joaquin and his history? He knows some big people.
We're about to find out.
Yes. Yeah. You should, just from the pictures, like when I do the intro, you're going to see like the famous people that he knows, that he takes photos with. And then you also have this this sort of like internet celebrity kind of thing that happened because you were on Spanish television too, right?
Yeah, I haven't in Spanish TV. I've been in Estrella TV. I really
Oh,
thank
I didn't know
Estrella
that.
TV and the TV show. I have a lot of talent. Tengo talento, mucho talento for helping me in my career. They helped me enormously in my career. It was like a big trampoline for me in my career. And I want to say hi to Don Cheto, to Ana Barbara, and everybody in Los Angeles that opened doors for me, and all the producers, and of course Mr. Lieberman, the owner of Estrella TV. Thank you for allowing me to come and be on your show and entertain people, and also to Univision. Univision opened doors for me as well. I was in one of their TV shows, Chacal, which opened doors also for me in my career. And all the radio stations where I have worked, and the commercials and web series, movies, everywhere, and where me and Billy have been able to work. I want to thank everybody and all my fans, my audience, my friends, and everybody else, because me and Billy, we want to create new shows. We want to create totally English-speaking shows and Spanish-speaking shows. We have a very good idea what we want and what we want to do here in Dallas, and also all over the world. And Dallas has great actors, actresses,
Absolutely.
producers, film directors. They have the technology.
Sometimes the great actors are like right under your nose.
Sherry, Edward,
Right.
and Shannon here, and
So
you.
just out of curiosity, because I know after we take our first break, you're going to take over and interview them. But what I'm wondering is how this came to be, how this connection started.
Where did we first meet Joaquin? I can't remember. But recently he invited me. He just, one day I got a message on Messenger, Facebook message, and he invited me to another show that he had. And of course, I know who Joaquin is, so I was like, of course I'll be there.
I met you
Where was
at the there was a movie that you did that it was a kind of crazy.
It was a student film years ago.
Okay.
And ever since then, I guess we followed each other. And then he asked me to be on his show recently. I did a fashion show.
Yeah, you
for
did a
some
fashion show.
undergarments.
Yeah, undergarments.
I'm too young to watch shows. I'm a Christian. I don't watch shows like that. I'm offended,
Okay.
Joaquin.
And ever since then, we just kind of.
Yeah, because I always told Billy that I really like her. I really like how she works and like her acting skills and her personality. And of course, she's a beautiful
Thank
woman.
you.
And
She's always networking as well. I've seen you at a
Yes.
few mixers. You're like out there, getting yourself out there, getting work. Yeah.
Trying.
yeah, and I really like Sherry. We like Sherry,
Yeah,
and she's very professional.
Thank you.
Well, this is a big compliment that they asked you to be on their very
Yes.
first show, too.
Yes, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. We're gonna have fun.
Yeah, we will.
And now I can tell that, Billy, you're the loud one. You're the one that's
Yeah.
going to talk most of the time. So how is it? How are you a part of all of this?
Oh, I've known Joaquin for a long time, and we just, he wanted to do this. I said, well, I'll go along. Yeah.
You've always supported him, though.
Yeah.
I always support him. There's more in the last few shows than before. It was kind of new to me, and I was not used to the radio stuff.
Did you not want to do it at first?
No, I didn't really want to do it. 'Cause I just...
Because you're shy and you.
Oh, yeah, I'm shy.
But you
I don't
bring a
like-
different dynamic, so it's good.
I'm not the wild and crazy person Joaquin is.
Joaquin, are you the wild and crazy one of
I guess I am. You have to be if you want to be in this business.
Oh, yes, you do.
You have to have no
Balance.
borderlines,
Yeah,
or
you have to be...
you really
pretty
have to
outgoing.
be outgoing. Otherwise, how are you going to portray something
Right.
in some character? There's no way.
Yeah.
Well, I know that, when I was talking about how, she's at a lot of the mixers and stuff, you are as well, because I know at the beginning of my film competition, you were there from the very beginning, and you always had like a camera, you always had like an iPad, you were always interviewing with a microphone, and it's just never stopped.
Because I really have a passion for this. Since I was a little kid, I always admire, because I'm from Mexico. And in Mexico, it's very international. I'm from Mexico City. In Mexico, we have great film festivals, like in Cannes, like here. Important people come from all over the world, from Europe, from Canada, from the United States. And I have always read about painting, books, about different writers. I had always liked Francesco Scabulo. He was a big photographer in the 60s, 70s. He photographed the most important people from those times. Jackie Kennedy, Brooke Shields, Marcos Hemingway. Had always like this business, entertainment. Had always like Truman Capote, Andy Warhol.
Wow.
Very impressive with his paintings.
Now, because, with you naming all of these people, and I've seen pictures of big celebrities that you've interviewed, are you ever like intimidated by them? Or what makes you, I couldn't go up to somebody and say, can I get a picture with you? You just seem to do it with no problem.
You know what? I'm not intimidated because I know who I am. I know what I am capable
Confident.
of doing. And you're not going to be asking questions that you shouldn't be asking. You should prepare yourself for the interviews. You have to read meticulously. You have to do research before you do an interview. Like when I interview people, I do research. I work 5-6 hours. I check their YouTube movies. I read their biography, their resume, what they have done. I see that psychology. There's psychology. I study it because I have to bring good questions to my interviews. When you are in front of politicians, actors, or just anybody, you have to ask questions. You have to know what the people wants to know about them. You're not gonna be asking the same questions all the time, because there are many, journalists, like they have actors and they ask the same question over and over. You have to ask different questions, things that people don't know about it, that want to know. So you have to be a good, you have to use your thinking, you have to use your everything, your skills. Otherwise, people are going to say, well, this person asked just questions that I'm not, they shouldn't even come, don't even come to the case.
Right. I know that I've been on your show a couple of times, and even on and off the show, when I see you at mixers, when we're taking photos, you have this thing where you have everybody do this. How did that get started?
That got started because I always want to have my own mark or my own seal.
Yeah.
So I told Billy, let's start doing this. So when people see this and me or anybody else,
they're like, there's
that's
Joaquin.
Joaquin Billy.
Yeah. And it's true. That's what people say.
You know, and because one time we went to a party with Mr. Dennis O'Neill, and he said, I'm going to do like you do, guys.
See, that means something. That means your branding is working.
And then it was really, they already know that we are doing this. And
they know that.
Yeah.
It's well known.
But asking, going back to what you asked me, no, I'm not intimidated about interviewing big celebrities. One time I have a really funny encounter with Patrick Duffy. It was so hilarious. Because he was working in a movie that it has the similar name as the Dallas TV show, and I asked him, what was the challenge, Mr. Duffy, about portray this character? There's not any challenge for me to portray this character. I am an actor. What are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, I say, settle down, Mr.
You told him to settle down?
Settle down. Put yourself together. I didn't ask you this for you to get defensive or upset about it. I ask you this because a lot of times young actors that start doing movies, they have challenge to portray somebody that got murdered, somebody that is a psychopath, somebody that is suffering for losing their mother, their father. It's a challenge. That's what I ask you, so you can tell these young actors what are the challenge. I know you're a professional actor and you're a Hollywood actor. I never say you're not a good actor.
Right.
You're a great actor. Yeah. I just wanted to ask you this so you can get a little bit of feedback to young actors that are just starting this business. You shouldn't be upset about it, Mr. Duffy. And then he changed. He goes, oh, okay.
Yeah,
who is this man right here? He say, who's this man? And he say, who's this hombre right here?
Right. Well, you know what? It says a lot about you and your interview process, because you could have easily gotten upset as well, but you didn't. You just explained yourself, and it brought him back down. Right. So that's a talent right there.
Yeah, I explained him because, like I told you, there are a lot of journalists that I have seen upset, and they go to an actress. You know, Lucia Mendez, that big diva from Latin America and Mexico. Yes. She worked with Anthony Quinn. She worked in Hollywood, and she's big. One day, somebody came and asked her a stupid question, because she has plastic surgery. And
what did they ask her?
And they asked her, how many plastic surgeries have you had? And she say, you know what? How old are you? How old are you, kid? How long you been in this business? You should never ask that kind of question. And she get up and leaves.
Wow. Okay, so, if a celebrity, I feel, if it's obvious that they've had plastic surgery, they need to be prepared for someone to ask them a question like that and have a really great response.
Right.
Just like, for example, like Dolly Parton. Oh my God! When they asked her about her plastic surgery and anything, and she came back and she said, well, you know what? It takes a lot of money to look this cheap.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's great.
Right,
She makes you laugh.
No, but you know what, Israel? I understand. But when they ask the woman over and over and over the same question, and they always like cut paper, and do the same thing.
And maybe she was in a bad mood at the same time. You just
Right.
never know.
Yeah, you never know. And she's a big diva, this woman.
Right.
And she
Did they air it? Did they air that interview?
They air, yeah, because she's famous, and
Yeah.
right now, she got into a drag queen got into trouble with her.
Oh.
Because she says she was stealing her new CD that just come up. Because she sings in Italian, and she said that this woman, I don't know how she had find the record, and she uploaded and she put it on her page, and she starts selling the music.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she
Wow.
started making, and she was coming to one of her, she was presenting her new record in a big mall in Mexico, and she was there. She said, don't let this woman get in. Let her come in. I don't want to see her
That
ever.
takes a lot of guts to
Yeah.
do something like that and put it on the actual artist page. Oh my gosh.
And she said, I don't know how this woman got my record.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
The internet.
Right.
You can find everything on the
Anything.
internet.
But put it on your
I know, but
page.
don't put it on the
That's
artist page. Oh my gosh. Well, guys, it is time for us to take our first commercial break. So I am going to excuse myself and have you take over the show. I appreciate you letting me do your first segment and interviewing you and introducing you to all of the new viewers and the new location here at Space Studios. I'm so happy that you guys are here, and I can't wait for Wednesday's show.
What's the address here?
The address is 1499 Regal Row, Suite 505, and you can catch this show on our YouTube channel. Just do a search on YouTube for Space Station, but remember to spell space Spayse. Some people say it's spacey. Some people say spazy.
Just spell it right.
Exactly. Just spell it right. You can say it however you like. So, guys, we will be right back, and thank you very much for letting me be on your show.
You're welcome.
You're
And
welcome.
I'm very excited about this new season in my life, in my artistic professional life, and I want to grow up as an actor, as a reporter, as an entertainer, as a dancer, and I want to do more things.
Yeah, well, good. I have a feeling you are.
Right.
I have no doubt
Yes.
whatsoever. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We're gonna
welcome back.
Hello.
So we have,
Hello.
who is joining us?
Mark Edward Howell.
And are you going to help me interview Joaquin today?
You do the interviewing. I'll just listen.
I think we're going to do it together. But
Oh, okay,
anyways,
that'll be
welcome back,
fine.
everybody. So we're here with Joaquin and Billy. They have their new show at Space Studios. That's SPAYSE in Dallas on Regal Row. They're starting their new show here today, and we're super excited to start this journey with them. So we're just going to ask Joaquin and Billy some questions and just see where it goes.
Okay.
Joaquin, I was looking at, I'm going to start with you. So I was looking at your resume, and it's very extensive. You've done films, television. You talked about this on the last segment, but just looking at it, you've done over 100 things since you started. Tell me exactly when you started acting.
I used to start acting when I was in Mexico. I took theater when I was in 7th grade, I believe. I have a great teacher.
Mm-hmm.
He showed me some techniques, and also I did a few plays in my church. I always like to do plays. So whenever they say I want a child for the play, it was always me.
How old were you when you first did your first play?
I was probably like 7,
Little Joaquin.
6 years old.
Do you remember the play?
No, I really don't. But I remember I was on the play.
Huevos con chorizo.
Huevos con chorizo? No. No huevos con chorizo.
And so when you were in school and you found this desire, this passion, and you were like, this is something I really like, and you loved being on stage and being in front of people and presenting yourself, sometimes people's families aren't always, they don't always back their loved ones. You know, you need to get a real job, and that's not real. You need to be a doctor, a lawyer. Was your family supportive?
You know what? They didn't support this business, probably because a lot of families, like you say, they don't really understand.
Right.
But it didn't really matter to me. I always wanted to do it.
It's an art.
Yes,
Right.
it's an art. Because, you know, when I was 13, 14,
Mm-hmm.
I used to go by myself to do castings. And there was a big director in Mexico that his nickname was El Pollo, the chicken. That was his nickname, the chicken, El Pollo. He was a big producer. And then they were looking for people for a show around 2 or 3 o'clock. And they needed children.
Mm-hmm.
And I was picked up by this director. And he told me, the next day you have to come with your mom and she needs to sign the contract. But my mother said, I don't have time, I have to work.
Right.
And I asked my sister. My sister said, no, I can't go.
Right.
So I could not get this job. But you know what? I remember some of these kids that were picked up. Today's days, they are big icons in Latin America.
Wow.
One of these kids they picked up was Lucero. She's a singer. She's an actress. She's very big.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her. She was like 2 children in front of me. And she's really beautiful, and she got long hair. And they say, I want that girl with the long hair. And then they pick her, they pick me, and probably in my mother would have signed the contract. It would have been, something different. But I don't regret, because I'm still doing what I like to do. My career has been successful, I would say, and I thank God for all His blessings and for all the people that has opened doors for me.
And your time is coming.
Yes.
Because you, regardless of any obstacles that come in your way, it seems like you're the type of person that's going to figure out a way, and you're going to overcome those obstacles, and you're going to get done what you want to get done.
Did you stay with it?
Yes, you're right about it, because I have gone through some obstacles. Because first of all, if you want to work here in the United States, or if you want to work in Europe, you really have to know the English language.
Right.
And I will advise all the actors that live in Latin America, in Europe, in Asia, wherever you're from.
Right.
Learn English, because English is the language that people speak all around the world.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you too. How was that transition from Mexico Did you speak English when you moved here?
You know
and how
what?
was that transition for you? Like, was it hard as far as the acting world?
Well, you know, where I'm from is a big city. It's like New York.
Wow.
It's full of art, museums.
What's the city?
Mexico City.
Okay, Mexico City.
It's like New York. They have Broadway shows. They have painters, writers, music. The food is international. We have a lot of people that are Lebanese. Their background is Lebanese, Jewish, Polish.
Wow, it's really neat for you to be sharing that with us, because here they don't portray it as artistic as it is, as you're expressing it to us. So it's good for you to let your audience know that they have those things there, the same they have here. It's just a different language, basically.
It's a different language, but it's pretty much the same culture. We have rock and roll, jazz. We had Broadway shows. Some of the shows are translated to Spanish, like some Joseph the Dreamer.
Everyone knows that show.
Cats. All these big shows, they are translating to the Spanish language, and they do great shows. So Latin America has a lot of influence by people of different cultures, from Europeans, black people, because a lot of people were brought to Latin America as slaves,
right,
all over. From the they were brought to the Caribbean islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Mexico, Venezuela, Brazil.
Wow. So it's very multicultural.
Yeah, so it's very international, you know, and Mexico is a big international city, full of art, like Frida Kahlo, Diego Rivera, a lot of people.
You know so many names. I want to touch on your dancing. Now, I've never seen you dance, Joaquin, but I can imagine it's just as grand as anything else that you do. How did you get into dance, and what type of dance?
You know what?
So many different kinds.
Because when I was a child, one of my neighbors, she was a ballet dancer. Her mother was an actress. She worked in the big movies with Pedro Infante. Pedro Infante is a big icon in Mexico, and she used to work with him in these movies from the 40s, 50s. And she was my neighbor, and she was a professional ballerina, and she worked on TV.
Wow.
And she got her studio in her house. It was a big studio, just for herself.
Right.
She told me, Joaquin, come over here, and I'm gonna show you how to dance and some steps, and I'm going to her house. Of course, you have to think I'm like 13, 14.
Yeah.
And this beautiful woman.
And you're a diva, of course. So
but she was really beautiful. She was like red hair, very Spanish looking, and that body, incredible body.
Dance bodies are gorgeous.
And she,
Charo.
yeah, and and she's like, Joaquin, let's do the steps. 1, 2, and then like this. I'm not looking at the steps. I'm looking at the outfit, and it's like, wow. I'm like, wow. I want to learn. Her name was Perla. So if you listen to me, Perla, hi, how are you doing? And she taught me, have the movements of ballet, have to dance, play.
So you kind of just fell into dancing.
Yes.
It was just a neighbor, and she was attracted to you for some reason and asked you to, and she just taught you everything she knew.
Yes, and you know why? Because she had a little boutique in the neighborhood where she sold clothes. So she sold clothes there, and she lived like 2 blocks away from my house, and she always likes to talk to me. I don't know why. Maybe
because she saw something in you at that age.
And you're easy, and you're listen very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was a child, I was like 14, 15. She was probably like 21. So
What do you want?
Well, 21, but
No,
it's
but
because
seriously, she probably saw something in you because there's a lot of times that we don't see in ourselves what other people see in us, right?
Yeah, and you know what? Her mother loved me a lot too. Hi, Joaquin, how are you? And kiss me, and always, you want something to eat me, or you want fruit, or you want something. I'm glad that Perla is teaching you how to dance. I said, yeah, I really appreciate it. And thank you for letting me come into your house because I saw her pictures sharing Omar with this big icon, Pedro Infante. And I'm like, wow. And I'm looking all these pictures of her work. She is a big house, a big house. And I'm like, wow. And I could not believe I was in that house with this actress. I heard no.
Besides your radio show now, what else are you focusing on? Or is this what you're focusing on? Because I know you really have a vision for not only your show, but as a production company.
Yeah, I have a lot of visions and dreams for my company, for our company, which is J&B Production.
What does that stand for? Joaquin
and Billy, yes.
Yeah.
I'm so smart.
We are
Graduated college.
we are registered. This is a company that is registered. We have produced a fashion show. We produced a fashion show with a very famous fashion designer, Benito Santos. He works with our beauty Mexico, Miss Mexico, with Lupita Jones. He made dresses for the first ladies in Latin America.
Wow.
He's a big fashion designer. So we brought him to Dallas to do a fashion show with us. And some people from designers from Yucatan, great designers, famous designers. We have produced a radio show before with Chaz Buchanan. Hi, Chaz. With Chaz Buchanan.
Just touch it.
We produce this radio show, the fashion show, to short movies, and we go and cover events, all different events they might have here in Dallas, and also I write. I like to write.
Not to cut you off, but this segment's over, so let's pick back up where we left off on the next segment.
See you in a moment.
You
Thank
guys
you.
stay tuned. We'll
Stay
be right
tuned.
back.
Bye.
Here at Space Studios with our first show with Joaquin and Billy.
Thank you. We're very excited.
Yes.
Super excited. So before we went to break, we were asking Joaquin about his vision for not only this radio show, but his vision for his brand. We'll say, because that's what it is. It's your brand, your production company.
Yes.
And you were talking about designers that you've worked with in Mexico.
Yes.
I know a little Spanish. In Mexico, and that you brought here. And continue on with that story and telling us what your vision is, where you want to go with this.
You know, my vision is to provide work for actors, actresses, film directors. But not just here in Dallas. I want to have an international company.
That's a huge vision.
With a different point of view.
Yeah.
Point of view. Because I'm not going to tell all my secrets.
Right.
But I'm going to tell a little bit, okay? Because I have the drive and I have the blessing to understand this business.
And you have the blessing for the connections that you've made and the rapport you've made with people in your past.
Yes, I'm very blessed that I know big people and big people like my work. They know who I am, and I've been working very hard all these years.
Because a lot of people think these things happen overnight.
No, it don't happen overnight. You have to work. You have to prepare yourself. You know, it's not like, oh, I want to be an actor, an actress, I want to host a show or whatever. And it's like, I'm going to do it today. Right. No, you have to go to school. You have to prepare yourself.
Train.
Yes, train. And you asked me if I knew English before I moved here. I started taking English when I was 9 years old in Mexico. Because my mother, you know, I always was blessed that they have the means for me to take languages, sports, or do whatever, you know. And my mother told me, you have to learn a language or you have to learn to play an instrument. And my sister too. She said, or you need to take a sport. And my mother, you need to take an English class or French or whatever. So I decided to take English. And you know what? When I started taking English, my teacher was very intimidating.
Why?
Because one day he put the vowels and the consonants. You know, he writes. And he started A-E-I-O-U. And he asked me, child, tell me what are the consonants. And he put me in front of all the kids. And I really nervous. And I could not speak out because I was so nervous. Because you have to understand, I was learning another language. Yeah. And he wanted me to say it in English. Right. I said, my brain went blank. I said, I don't know. Tell me, please. Kind of like this in front of all the children. I said, I don't know. You better learn it for next class. You better learn it because you're learning English. And your parents pay you for this class, and it's not that cheap. You better learn it because I'm a good teacher. Right. And well, okay. And then he said it, and then I said A-I-O-U. And then there was something very funny in this class. There was a girl that took French before English. Oh. Let me tell you, she got a big problem because she already got the tongue of the French, and she was like that. English. And she was trying to speak English, and the teacher said, how are you? How are you? Look at my mouth. How are you? And then sometimes they tell you a trick. You have to put the pencil to say 3 through stuff like that. So when you know, so you can say the enunciation, pronunciation, right. Right. And this woman, she already had the French on it. I guess she took French for 4 years before she took English. And she said, oui, monsieur. And then she said, how are you? And I said, girl, this is not a French class. You better learn English because this is how are you. You're going to learn or you get out of the class. What's going on?
Did she stay?
Yeah, she stayed. stayed because she wanted to learn. And I said, girl, you really need to get that off on your language because
Did
this
you
is not
help her,
French.
Joaquin?
I tried, but she always come out with the French accent.
Did she ever finish? Did she ever make it?
He's like, I don't know.
I don't think so.
You got away from her, didn't you?
It was a hard time, but you know what? There was no technology back then, you know.
Right.
And every day I have to go home and learn 20 questions out of the dictionary. He give you 20 questions every after class. That's your homework with everything else, you know. And you have to learn it, and you have to say it next class, and you have to write sentences. He was a great teacher. He really was, you know. And I learned it, and I really thank God for the opportunity that I have to learn
It's like
English.
you were set up way long ago to go where you're going now.
Yes.
And I think that's how it happens for a lot of us. We don't understand certain things that we go through, that we're actually being set up for something greater than our comprehension at the time.
And there also, and I can see where that teacher's coming from. That's why he was so stern with you, because he knew you could do it.
Right.
That's just like Simon Cowell on American Idol or
Yes.
America's Got Talent. That's the reason he is stern with people, because if you don't get it through to them, they're not going to make it.
Right.
And that's the
Right.
reason that,
And it's
the reason
a
they do
part
it.
of caring. Some people, that's just
It
their
is. That's
way.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
My parents were like that.
Yeah.
Even after my mother took her foot off my neck.
Is that why you're short?
Yeah.
I'm just
No,
like,
Daddy tried to put me back.
I'm just playing. You know, I
He
love
said he was going to put me back where I belong. I said, it's going to be hard on you.
Joaquin, we've talked a lot about you, which I love having conversations with you because your life is so interesting
Yes,
to me.
it is.
Because it's not just, you know, I was born in Lubbock and then I like moved to Dallas, because that's my story. But it's greater than that. But anyways,
And you speak English, not with your French.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to go like this with but it's a good trick because, you know, when Hispanic people, they can say three or through. Or, I said, do the trick of the pencil. Go like this and put it in between.
Okay.
And go.
I was
And
wondering how they
you
learn
learn
how to
it.
do all that because of that rolling.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
because, you know, there are even American children that have problems with the tongue.
Yeah.
And that's how you can
Oh, I
teach
don't.
the
The
kids.
speech therapy.
No, you don't. Oh, I bet you don't, Mark. I bet you don't have a single problem with it.
Billy Jordan,
Yes,
how are you?
I'm doing great.
You're so quiet. We're gonna
Yes,
come out
I'm
of our
quite-
shell.
Yes.
Say hi to your fans.
Mm-hmm.
Billy, okay, I don't know if I already asked you. How exactly did you guys? So you've just known each other for a really long time, and then you just started doing
Yeah,
your radio hosting and stuff with
Yeah,
Joaquin.
we met a long time ago. Yeah.
And I see on here that you have some acting under your belt as well.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of acting, extras.
I know that you didn't want to do it at first, but how do you feel about it now? Do you look forward to doing it, or are you still kind of hesitant?
Oh, I'm not as hesitant as I was. I mean, I like the extra acting and stuff like that, things I don't know about speaking roles or something like
Ooh,
that.
we're gonna have
that's
to
for me.
get you one.
Yes, man, that's for you.
Yeah.
And you have a really good educational background.
Mm-hmm.
So I see that you have a bachelor's of science in accounting,
That's right.
and that was at the University of Texas in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
You have an associate's of applied science for personal computers,
Mm-hmm.
integrated systems specialist.
Yeah, I was a specialist in the Air Force who worked on aircraft.
Oh, so you were in the service.
Oh, my bad
Thank you.
self.
Yeah. So is that where you started off your for the sciences? Is that where you started off your
I started a little before that, but yeah, that's what I was able to get a good start. I worked in electronics for a long time. That's where I got a lot of
So you're a good fit for him because you know the back end of the IT stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very smart with computers, numbers,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
He has
And
helped
you
me
need
a lot.
somebody like that, especially for a business, especially with a vision as big as yours.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Accountant, especially somebody to take care of your money.
And someone you trust.
Yes.
Yeah.
You trust him, right, Joaquin?
Yeah, because accounting is really complicated. They can do you in real,
Yeah, absolutely.
and you don't know what happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On account I can't keep up with my taxes.
Yeah, that's that's another area. It's a little,
Yeah,
it's a little different from but it's similar.
Well, I'm glad that you guys have paired up to for the radio show one, but also just for the production company as a whole. I think I see big, huge things for you guys, and I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm really grateful that you guys even brought me into your little networking family. So I'm excited about that. Let's go, before you ask your question, we're going to take one more break, and then we're going to come back for our last segment, and we're going to see what you want to tell us. So we'll be right back. Keep watching, guys. Thank you.
Bye. See you.
To the Joaquin and Billy, your show. What? Tell me again.
Your show with Joaquin and Billy.
Your show.
For now, we're still looking for a good name, but
so
for
this
now,
is just an interim.
Yes,
this is just a name we're going to use for now. Okay, well it works. It's your name, so people know who's on the show at least, right?
Before I forget my question.
Yes, go ahead.
You were talking about productions. Now, what type of productions are you talking? Are you talking about all productions? Are you talking about film? Are you talking about events?
Film. I would like to produce another short film and then a feature film. And here I would like to we would like to produce more shows. So I would like for Sherry to have her show. She would like to help us too, Mark, with something else show. Or
I would love to. That's what I was going to ask you because we have scripts already ready, and I would my thought about that is if you're going to do film, do you already have writers, editors, or the crew?
No, not right now, but it's
Talk to me, baby.
it's
about that.
something.
That's what he's interested in.
Yeah, but I wanna produce shows totally in English and show totally in Spanish.
Because your last show, you kind of meshed it, right? So you would have it in English, but then you would translate it for your
Yeah, I have
Spanish
that
viewers.
show bilingual. I have work into radio stations, and I was doing this type of work. I love doing it because it helps you with your language skills.
Right.
But I would prefer to do it totally one language and then totally the other language. So totally in English, totally in Spanish.
Right.
I think it will work better, or you can do captions. But I think it will be better to
Captions
do
would be
totally
a
in
good idea.
English and
Oh, Lord,
Spanish.
I'm glad you didn't do caption because
Yes.
without my glasses, I'd have to run up to the screen every 2 minutes, see what it says.
So that's something you're looking for then.
Yeah.
It's people like Mark that wants to network, and you're looking for writers and
Yes.
And I
directors
have all that from New York, Los Angeles, all over Texas. I know people in Louisiana, Atlanta,
Yes.
and some big people that I don't want to mention because I don't want people coming up. Oh, you know, blah 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 blah. I think, oh yeah, I do now.
But that's important. Networking is super important when you want to do anything because we can't do these things for ourselves, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it is.
And see, that's what I told the students in class today. I spoke at a college, and that's what I told them. I said 90% of your roles are going to come from networking. I guarantee it. You could be the biggest actor in the whole wide world, but you ain't gonna make it on looks, and you ain't gonna make it as a greatest actor. It's the networking. Well, we had a girl. Well, we had a girl that wanted to be an actress, and that's what she did. She's supposed to throw a cup. She's mad at this other girl, and she goes, "Oh, okay. No, that's not how you do it." It throws me off because and she don't go to network. She had one job. Now she's married and has 3 children. She has no
wow.
jobs.
Happens.
But you know what? If you want to be in this business, you have to always take workshops, always networking, mixers. Try to work in a radio station, in a TV studio, on sets, doing movies, so you can learn how the lighting, the cameras, because you cannot be sitting down at home and say, "I want to be an actor." You have to
Actually,
go
you did
ahead and
something.
do it.
Yeah, and know how the people behind the camera are feeling and what they see.
Yes.
And you as an actor, you can see what they're doing. But and that's why I got my camera. I've been studying the lighting and how to use the camera. It's great. Boy, I did really good on the camera. I did one series right now, and it was really good. I was impressed. But yeah, that's one thing. But I was going to tell you another thing, talking about all the different things you can do in acting to sharpen your skills. Create characters to do corporate parties.
Wow, that's great.
I have 7 corporations that hire me every year. Some of them are like parties like at a doctor's house or, White Rock Lake, Dr. Forbes. I do characters for him every year. I do a different character.
Yes.
He tells me, just come up with something.
That's
So last
interesting.
year, I did the crazy cousin from Florida who was in Dallas for the National Trailer House Association meeting.
Wow.
And stuff like that. But that's another way of sharpening your skills. And
Just-
at the same time, you network.
Yes.
It's just always networking, always sharpening your skills, always going to classes. Joaquin, where can we find? Are you both on social media?
Yes, I'm gonna let people know where they can find me. They can find me if you go to Twitter, Joaquin Fuentes. You can find me there.
How do you spell your name though, Joaquin? Because when you look at your name, I was pronouncing your name Joaquin. That's not his name. It's Joaquin. So how do you spell it?
Okay, the name you spell my name is Joaquin Fuentes. Joaquin Fuentes. But you know what? Even a lot of people that are Latin, Hispanic, they misspell my name. They think it's you because they say who is O. It's Hua. It's not Hua. It's Joaquin.
Joaquin.
And they
Joaquin.
misspell it.
Like
Yeah.
a Q, kind of like a Q, Joaquin.
Yeah, like you, because they think it's you. the sound they think is you. Joaquin. It's Joaquin.
We didn't take any classes.
No, but I'm just teaching you. I'm just teaching
the one that
everybody.
that's the one that
I'm
say
teaching
Harold.
everybody.
So on Twitter, it's Joaquin Fuentes.
Fuentes in Facebook, Joaquin Fuentes, and in YouTube, Joaquin Fuentes. They can see some of my work in when we produce our show, Your Life with Joaquin and Billy. Have you seen your interview in YouTube, Mark?
Yes, I am.
Yes. We have Mark Edward Howell. He's a great actor. He's in my channel, YouTube.
Yes.
In our radio show that we produce, Your Life with Joaquin and with Joaquin and Billy, with Chas Buchanan in Cadillac Dreams Radio.
And I'm a good cook.
Oh, you're good? Wow.
Yeah, I went to Culinary Arts College too.
Wow.
All this talent around.
Yes. Well, you can check our work in YouTube. And Billy, your web page, please.
Yeah, Facebook, Billy Jordan, Dallas.
Is it IE or Y?
Y. And Twitter, it's Billy Jordan 15. Yeah.
And YouTube also.
Well, I don't have anything.
And are y'all gonna have a page dedicated to your show?
Yeah, we're gonna work on a page. We're gonna have a web page for our shows, for our company.
And so it'll start streaming through there instead of your personal page, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So right now we're looking for somebody who can produce that web page for us.
A web page or a Facebook page?
A web page,
Okay.
so that we can put all the shows, the links, everything that we're gonna be doing. And we're
So
very
if you're out
happy.
there and you know how to build web pages or anything else that you guys can help them start off their new journey, then reach out to them on Facebook, or do you have an email? Maybe they can email you.
Yeah, they can email me at jbfilmproduction@aol.com.
You don't need to do that when you got one sitting right over there.
Oh.
Okay. And I just want to tell to my audience in Spanish now. Les quiero decir que muchas gracias por seguirme también y por seguirnos en nuestro trabajo a mí, a Billy. Muchas gracias a todas las gentes que nos han apoyado también en nuestras carreras, en nuestras vidas. Gracias porque hemos hecho amistades también, muchas amistades. Y bueno, vamos a estar ya aquí en los estudios Space Studios. Estamos muy contentos de empezar esta nueva etapa, esta nueva era aquí con el señor director Israel Luna. Y le doy muchas gracias a la actriz Sherry Horns que estuvo aquí conmigo, a Mark Howell, a Shannon que estuvo ahí en los controles, a Billy y a todas las personas que nos han seguido. Vamos a estar aquí trabajando, vamos a producir shows en inglés totalmente y en español totalmente. Y estamos muy contentos de estar aquí y síganos aquí en Space Studios. We're very happy to be here with all of you in Space Studios. This is going to be our home from now on. Yes. We're going to produce shows totally in English, totally in Spanish. And do thank you, Shannon, for being here with us this afternoon in the controls.
Couldn't do it without you.
Thank you. And to my friend actor Mark and actress Sherry and Billy and all the people that have followed our work all the time. We're bringing new things and bigger things.
MarkEdwardHowell.com. Tell us how to find you, Mark.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, MarkEdwardHowell.com, or you can go to my website, www.markedwardhowell.com. Look at that. You see it.
And Sherry Hearns, SherryHurnes. All my stuff is the same. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If it's a social media app, you can find me on it. And it's usually Shearns, so it's my first initial, last name, or just Sherry Hearns. And I have a webpage as well at www.sherryhearns.co. I could be wrong. Message me. I'll tell you what it is. But thank you so much, Joaquin. And just so you guys know, we had a rough start, right? Because like Israel said, you just really confirmed everything last night.
Yes.
So there were some things that happened, but it's okay. Next show is going to be bigger and better. It's going to be more fluid. It's going to be, it's going to look better.
And a background, good background.
Yes, we're going to have a background too.
So keep following these two, because if you've been paying attention, they have a huge dream, a huge vision, and I think that they both have the drive and determination to
yes, they do.
See that vision to the other side. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Y Gracias por todo, mis amigos, y nos vemos la próxima semana aquí en Space Studios en tu show con Joaquin y Billy. Thank you for tuning in, my friends. We see you next week here in Space Studios. Your show with Joaquin and Billy. Thank you for tuning in. Blessings, big kiss. Bye-bye. Thank you to Sherry and Mark and everybody. Shannon, Israel.
Is it Granny like
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
We're going to go party and eat cake
We're gonna
now.
go party. Yeah.